Hello and welcome to GameSack. That's right, it's time to take a look at some more arcade games that were never ported to a home console.
Yes, it is. And most of these games that we're looking at today were suggested by you guys, so thanks for that.
Yeah, a lot of these games I'd never even heard of before. I wish I had a chance to play them in a normal arcade.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Well, anyways, enough of that. Let's get on with the show.
Okay. Osmond is a side-scrolling platformer by Mitchell. Yeah, I've never heard of him either. You control a very acrobatic guy as he runs and jumps around to save the entire world from a deadly cult. Most people compare this game to Strider, and there are definitely similarities in the level design and the way the character controls. In fact, the director of this game previously directed Strider.
Oh man, yeah, there are multiple times in here where I had an almost deja vu moment and Strider pops into my mind.
But really, I see this as its own unique game, which shares only a few elements. Osmond punches and kicks his way through the levels, whereas Strider uses a sword, for instance. You also have a special attack you can fire off. However, I do feel that this game isn't as good as Strider. I feel the overall level design of the game could have been better. It's very hard to avoid getting hit in a lot of circumstances. Also, the enemies in the levels, they're just not very interesting. The game does have some good graphics and the sound is certainly passable, but I think the music could have been better. Overall, I'd say this is a fun game to play, but it's certainly not a AAA title.
Aliens by KONAMI is a side-scrolling run and gun, or maybe a walking gun actually. I had a fun time with this one.
Yeah, it's based on the movie of the same name. Sometimes I can't even tell if I'm playing the game or watching the movie. Everything is just so similar. Ripley even has the same short blonde hair she does in the movie. I guess they got that wrong. But at least you fight the same purple and pink aliens. No, they got that wrong too. Oh well, at least you can fight in the mechanical lifter.
As you're walking, aliens come at you from all over the place. You can shoot a low shot or a high shot with different buttons. There are a few weapons you can pick up along the way. The three-way shot definitely helps. There's no jump button in this game, and I kinda wish there were. There's times when you feel you need to jump out of the way of an alien, but you can't, so you just take a hit because you walk kinda slow. The boss battles are fairly entertaining, as a lot of them are in the background and you're facing them as you fight. Between the levels, you're riding in a vehicle shooting aliens coming at you. I don't understand the parameters of this, as I couldn't control the speed of the vehicle.
I think you're just supposed to shoot things so the vehicle keeps its speed up instead of running into stuff and slowing down.
Oh, that does make sense. The music in here is really enjoyable. It's a fun quarter muncher that I think you might enjoy.
Dead Connection by Taito is surprisingly enjoyable. Basically, the mob murders your girlfriend and you're not too happy about that. So the only reasonable solution is to get bloody revenge. You play each stage on a non-scrolling screen and your goal is to kill a certain number of people before the time runs out. You can pick up different weapons for better firepower, and the environment is very interactive and, of course, destructible. You have absolutely no moral issues with shooting up a hotel lobby or ruining a garden party as long as you're able to shoot a whole bunch of people. You even call it a bloodbath party. Look at that, after you're done you just let the house burn in the background. Gotta keep that anger in your heart after all. The number of people you must kill increases in pretty much every stage, and you have absolutely no problem with that since you are one evil son of a bitch. By the time the game is completed, you've murdered well over 400 people. The locales all look good and even the music is good.
Definitely a joy to play this game, as there aren't many out there similar to it.
If you like playing as a sadistic detective, then this game's for you.
Damn it! Alien vs. Predator is a side-scrolling beat-em-up by Capcom. It's generally a fun game to play, but after a while I just started to get kind of bored.
Yeah, that's the curse of beat-em-ups, I think. They've got to be pretty special to retain the player's interest past a few stages.
Yeah, I can definitely see the difficulty in programming something like this, but it seems that you're fighting the same aliens over and over, so fighting gets pretty monotonous. In later levels, you actually fight against humans, which helps change things up.
Yeah, and here the mechanical lifter even makes an appearance.
And you can choose from 4 characters, 2 different predators, a man or a woman. I personally like playing with the predators more than the humans.
I agree, but the big guy, as clunky as he is pretty tough.
The music is pretty toned down for Capcom. It sounds good for the game, but overall is pretty unmemorable. This is a decent game with a great concept, but I think I'd rather play Final Fight.
Next up is Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Now you may think that this game has a ton of home versions on European computers and the Genesis, but this arcade version is completely different than those. As you can see, this version features an isometric perspective, whereas the Genesis version is a side-scrolling platformer. The goal is the same though: stop Mr. Big and rescue all of the children that you find. I guess Mr. Big is building a sinister machine to rule the world and it uses little children as fuel or something, so Michael takes it upon himself to rescue them. You shoot short laser bursts out of your hands to defeat enemies. You also have a super dance move which forces everyone to dance with you, even machines. They just can't keep up with Michael's slick moves, so they die. Rescuing the kids can give Michael more dance moves or extra health. His monkey, Bubbles, appears from time to time and he turns Michael into a murdering metal giant whose heart is as cold as his iron skin.
You know, I really didn't like the control in this game. As you might know, I'm not a huge fan of isometric games as they all seem to suffer from aiming problems. It never feels natural to aim your laser or whatever it is at an enemy.
I can't wait until we talk about Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, the graphics are okay and the music is based on Jackson's music, obviously. You'd think the graveyard scene here would have Thriller, but no, Jackson actually didn't write that song and he doesn't own all of the rights. Overall, the game moves pretty slowly and it only has 5 rounds.
Even though Michael was proven innocent, it's still very creepy that he's rescuing little kids. I almost feel the kids are better off with Mr. Big.
So which is better, the arcade version or the Genesis version? Well, the arcade version has this. But the Genesis version has this. Wow, both are so awesome. Just kidding, not really. Dave, I've talked about 3 unique games so far, and what have you done? You've only talked about games from the Aliens franchise.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not even a big fan of Aliens, Joe.
Are you serious?
Yes, well, I'm not, but
come on, they're good movies, dude.
Well, they're all right. I like them, but they're not I don't have them in my collection. But. Anyways, I've got this great game coming up.
What's that?
It's called Gun Force 2.
Ooh.
Here's Gun Force 2, or Geoforce as it's also known. Looking at this game, your first thought might be that it's a Metal Slug clone. Well, the team who made this left IRM and formed a Nazca, who, of course, went on to make Metal Slug.
Yeah, even the sounds in Metal Slug were lifted from this game, some of which were even in the first Gun Force game, which was nowhere near as good as this one.
So, is this game fun? Hell yes it is! It's loaded with great graphics that have lots of detail. The control is good, but I did have some problems jumping to upper levels and dropping back down to lower levels. It can also be difficult to aim your weapon while running, climbing, and generally getting around. There are lots of vehicles in this game that you can assume control over, just like Metal Slug. The music is generally pretty good. It's loud and blaring just like an arcade game should be. A great game from a great development team that went on to even better IPs.
You know, I think I may enjoy this one just a bit more than the Metal Slugs, I'm not sure, but it's pretty awesome. Ninja Baseball Batman is an interesting beat-em-up by IREM. Wait, where's Batman? Well, you are the Batman, attacking enemies with your bat.
Yeah, the first time a viewer mentioned we should take a look at Ninja Baseball Batman, I was picturing Batman hitting a home run in a baseball game. I was very happy that wasn't the case.
You and up to 3 friends fight tons of baseball-related things like baseball gloves, baseball bats, and yes, even baseballs themselves. The character designs are just awesome. They kind of remind me of a cross between the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Air Zonk on the TurboGrafx 16. Everything in this game is just so full of energy, and you can tell the designers had a ton of fun making this one. For example, you even fight a plane while inside of another airplane, and a truck that attacks you with kisses. Honestly, it'd be really hard not to like this game. Fortunately, the game itself is quite fun. Like most beat-em-ups, it can get a bit repetitive, but this game just has too much charm for me to care about that. The graphics are very colorful and well drawn. The music is strange, but it really does fit the game. This one would have been right at home on the TurboGrafx 16 or the Saturn, and there's no justification whatsoever for not bringing this one out. But it's the best baseball-based game ever. So screw you, Tommy Lasorda, I'm playing Ninja Baseball Batman.
The Cliffhanger Edward Randy is a very strange arcade game, I thought. The background in every stage scales away from you as if you're racing towards the screen. You spend the majority of the game fighting on very small platforms like boats, biplanes, and other vehicles. Your weapon in this game is a whip, and it's kind of frustrating to control, actually.
Yeah, tell me about it. Sometimes I couldn't even tell if my whip was making contact with what I was trying to hit.
You got that right, Joe. And there's times when you're trying to whip somebody and you actually end up attaching your whip to a platform and you start to swing. It's very annoying and can cause your character to fall off the bottom of the screen. You don't die though, as you have a life bar.
Also, the screen never seems to stay still. It's constantly swaying back and forth, and that makes it hard to stay on the platform or time certain jumps.
The music is decent and tries to make you feel like you're constantly in an action movie, and there's some repetitive voices too. The game's super short though, and it can usually be beaten in about 20 minutes, so you won't waste a lot of money on this one to get to the end.
Yeah, if each continue is 25 cents, I probably spent about $2 to beat it.
Now that's a cheap night out. Overall, it's a fun experience and you could play worse. I can understand why nobody ever ported this one home though.
The Outfoxies is a game by Namco which supposedly inspired Super Smash Bros. You choose from 7 different characters and your mission is simple.
Kill your enemy by any means.
Yep, do whatever you can to defeat your opponent within the confines of the stage. The game zooms in and out depending how far apart you and your enemy are. There are random weapons lying all over the place, and even the stage itself can be used as a weapon.
Yeah, I sometimes had a hard time picking up the weapons. For some reason though, I just couldn't do it on my first try each time.
There's also a time limit and the stage will start to crumble if nobody's won after so long. The game has a great sense of humor, especially in the characters. One of them is a chimp who is a contract killer that works for bananas. Another is a pair of twins. It's kind of disturbing playing as 2 children murdering other people, but okay. It can get really hectic, especially in the stages like the circus where there are tons of other stuff going on. The scaling is cool, but honestly it detracts from the game for me since it's constantly going in and out, and it makes it really hard to keep track of everything. I often can't even find my own character. I think this is a cool game though, but it should have spent a little bit more time in the planning stages, as the zooming in and out kind of detracts a little bit for me.
Well, I thought this game was really fun. I had a great time running around trying to kill my enemy.
Gun. Gun.
Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa is a game based on an animated TV series. It wasn't very popular as it ran only 2 seasons before it was canned, but somehow it got an arcade game in the form of this action platformer. Right away you can see that it's a fairly fun game with lots of bright colors. The control is really good and the music is fair for the game.
It reminds me a lot of Sunset Riders, and I'm sure the game uses the same engine. But hey, that's a good thing, right?
No, you are right. But I really wasn't attracted to the characters at all in this one. The only thing that attracts me to a cow is a nice steak or hamburger. I have no idea why anyone would have thought this would be appealing. Anyway, throughout the game you're shooting tons upon tons of cows, or bulls I guess is more like it. You can get power-ups and special type weapons by shooting birds which drop them when they die.
This game has a ton of action, but it does derive most of its challenge by throwing a ton of enemies at you.
And the boss fights are crazy because each boss has what appears to be a small life bar, but they take about 100 shots or more before they die. Overall, it's a fun game, but doesn't hold any interest for me because the characters are boring. I'm sorry, but cows and bulls are just boring no matter how human you try to make them look.
I was able to get past that, just like I'm able to get past Mickey being a filthy rodent in Castle of Illusion. This is a good game, and I think it would have found a nice home on the Super Nintendo.
Well, there you have it. 10 more arcade games that nobody cared enough to bring home.
Well, I would have cared if they brought some of those home, especially games like Ninja Baseball Batman.
Yeah, that was
But
awesome.
anyway, thanks to your guys' suggestions, we have enough games to probably cover 2 more episodes like this. But if you know of a game that was left in the arcade, let us know anyway. And if it's not on our list, we'll add it.
That's right. We love those arcade games.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, maybe we could do an arcade to home conversion again sometime.
Oh, arcade versus home conversions? Is that like,
Or to home.
yeah, comparing the console to the arcade.
Sure.
Okay, well, yeah, we should do one of those again. Anyway, thanks for watching GameSack, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey Joe, come here for a sec. I've got some new ideas for maybe some shirts we could wear, some new logos and
What's wrong with
mottos or
these?
something. No, nothing's wrong with these. I actually really like these a lot, especially
Okay.
this Nintendo one. This is the best.
Come on.
But anyways, I've got a couple ideas. Let me just show you. Just wait here. I'm gonna go in the other room and put the first one on.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And tell me what you think.
I'll just wait here.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be right back. All right. Here's the first idea.
Okay, that looks very cheap. Support our sack. Game sack. I don't know, Dave. What else you got?
All right. Number 2.
My sack, your sack, game sack. You have anything else, Dave?
All right. This is my personal favorite, Joe.
Look at my sack. Game sack. I don't know, Dave. And what do you think?
I like them all, but let's let the viewers decide.